Welcome back. In this session, we will have a closer look to biowaste sourcing. At the end of this session, you will be able to know the difference, as well as advantages and disadvantages of waste segregation and sorting. Understand the challenges of waste segregation at source. Learn from innovative waste segregation campaigns. Let's start with some definitions. Separation of different waste fractions can happen at different steps of the solid waste management chain. We usually call waste segregation the separation of the waste close to the generation source, at the moment you want to get rid of something, before the waste is put in the trash bin. And we call waste sorting when the mixed waste has to be sorted out to recover different fractions. As we can see in these two videos, the advantages of waste segregation at source is that it increases the purity of the organic and inorganic waste fractions, which increases the end product quality, thinking of the compost produced for example. It also decreases the cost of treatment, as there is no extra step of sorting the waste. One of the main disadvantages of waste segregation at source, however, is that it requires an active participation of waste generators and behavior change from households, which is something very hard to achieve. The advantages of waste sorting, on the other hand, are that it allows to continue doing business as usual, as it doesn't require extra participation of waste generators. However, when waste is mixed and then sorted, the risk of contamination is higher. Being contamination with plastic packaging and glass, or contamination with hazardous substances contained in the mixed waste, such as batteries, solvents, or paint. The end product quality is then also lower, thinking of a compost with plastic residue in it for example, which won't be used for commercial purposes, as no one wants plastic with their vegetables, but will rather be used as landfill cover layer for example. Also, the cost of treatment increases, as more steps are needed before treating the organic waste. That is principally for these reasons that biowaste segregation at source, or biowaste sourcing, is most of the time what should be aimed for. That being said, it is important to not forget that asking people for segregating their waste is asking for a behavior change, and again, making people change their behavior is a hard task to achieve. Keep in mind that having a closer look at what drives behavior change, in that case, the behavior of separating your waste at the moment you generate it, might help to design effective waste segregation campaigns. Let's have a look at some interesting examples such campaigns. Here is an example from Indonesia. This short video clip, called A Biowaste Hero, tried to target different psychological factors to promote waste segregation. Let's have a look at it and see where those factors are triggered. Norm, showed by the community leader support. Risk, showed by highlighting the health impact of not separating the waste.
Ibu, terima kasih telah membantu usaha kami.
Attitude, showed by highlighting how by separating the waste you help the city and the environment. Ability, with the main protagonist explaining how to do it. Norm, with all the neighborhood participation. Another interesting example comes from Bolivia, where Helvetas Swiss Intercooperation, an NGO, used the RANAS approach to foster waste segregation at source. In this case, a mix of interventions was conducted in many cities around the country, targeting specific behavior change factors, such as a school theater targeting norm, ability, and commitment, where students participating to the event would receive an ambassador's bracelet to enhance their commitment to separate their waste at source. Door-to-door visit, to activate the factor of self-regulation, by giving a calendar highlighting all the days for collecting specific waste fractions. Or even video clips with famous local people, showing their commitment to separate their waste to increase the norm factor, by inducing a certain social pressure. And the last example is from Guatemala, where a local NGO decided to make flyers on how to segregate waste at source, using icons of local leaders to enhance the norm factor. That's all for this session on biowaste sourcing. Let's now summarize what we've learned in this session. We saw the difference between segregating the waste at source and sorting mixed waste, as well as the advantages and challenges of waste segregation. We then saw some examples of how thinking about the behavioral factors such as risk, attitude, norm, ability, and self-regulation can help diversifying the messages and means of waste segregation campaigns. Thank you for listening. See you in the next session.